Issue 5 of Powers of X is where it all starts to come together. First of all, the number 5, it's repeated a few times in this issue. Is it any coincidence that we just met the 5 in House of X? Probably not. I think this is a hint for us to pay close attention to the numbers. Another important number that comes up in this issue is during the conversation between Emma, Magneto, and Xavier, and that number is 12. And in the X-Men universe, that number actually comes with big implications, especially when we're discussing 12 influential mutants, especially when the main villain is a Sentinel from the future. We've seen this all play out before, the story of the 12. It's too long to get into right now, but I'll make an additional video if there's any interest on this subject, or any subject in this video. But the next big thing that we need to talk about is Xavier's conversation with Forge. In that conversation, Xavier mentions his idea of uploading mutants' personas into Cerebro. This has actually been done before. Cerebro even went so far as to become sentient and make its own mutants based off of the mutant database it's absorbed. Another thing Xavier mentioned in the conversation is the Shi'ar crystals. These crystals have been shown to download a person's essence. It was given to Jean Grey's parents as a gift from the Shi'ar in order to carry Jean's essence with them. Rachel was later seen with a similar Shi'ar crystal talking to Jean from beyond the grave. And then there's the last thing to take away from this conversation, and it is that it seems that this whole thing is taking place after Xavier had his mind transferred into a new body using Shi'ar technology. It could very well be that the Shi'ar crystals and the body transfer and all this is what eventually inspired Xavier's resurrection method. But also, what's noteworthy is that Moira was present during Xavier's body swapping. As a matter of fact, it seems that she helped out in the process. And Moira also seems to be around a lot of Omega level mutants. She even managed to give birth to one, Proteus, who is also one of the 5. But there's also one other thing that everyone seems to forget, and it's that Moira was the very first person to ever meet Cable when he first came back to our time. Cable and Moira even had a mind melding where Cable learned how to speak English from her. Moira also helped establish Excalibur, a team not only consisting of the time-traveling Rachel, but also Captain Britain, the guardian of the multiverse. She had both of them living on her island. It may very well be that Moira was the person that came up with the plan to send Kate Pryde back in time to stop the Days of Future Past timeline from occurring. And that's why Destiny could not foresee it using her powers. Destiny kept saying that she had a weird feeling that she couldn't wrap her mind around. And that's because Moira had Kate Pryde go back in time to stop her. Moira also might have been the one to have Legion killed Destiny, which is why Mystique later on blames Moira for Destiny's death and then has her killed. My guess is that all these futures that we have seen before, the Days of Future Past or Cable's future or even Bishop's future, they all are one of Moira's lives. And somehow all this time traveling back to our present is Moira trying to make an ultimate plan to somehow solve a crisis. I think it might be related to the 12. The 12 seems to be the story that we're being told right now. This is the real 12, not the fake 12 that Apocalypse created back in the day to absorb everyone's powers and become the most powerful mutant ever. No, this is the actual 12 storyline being told.